Hello and welcome to another podcast edition of Taiwan Talk. I'm Keith Manconi. Taiwan's population of migrants from South and Southeast Asia now number in the hundreds of thousands, making up an important segment of the country's multicultural society. But today, we're going to be speaking to one group that warns that all too often these newcomers, from Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines, well, they face some pretty negative attitudes, meaning that as a whole, they're left out, not supported, or not thought of at all. That group is the 140 Foundation, and they're working to bridge this gap by providing a variety of services targeted at helping migrant workers out in a number of ways, from the practical to the purely social. I recently spoke with one of the Foundation's co-founders, Sophia Wu, to learn more about their work. Sophia Wu, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So I think a good place to start is just with the name of your group, because there is some significance to that name, and I think that will kind of get at maybe a bit of a mission statement for you guys, maybe a bit of what your goal, what your vision is for all this. So that name is the 140 Foundation. So tell us a bit about that.
Okay. So why we called 140 is that every 40 people in Taiwan, there's one Southeast Asia migrant workers. So that's why we called 140, and we want to voice out for the one portion.
So you see your role as advocating for them, being their voice in Taiwan.
Yeah.
And that number is probably a bit higher than most people in Taiwan would even realize. 1 in 40 people, that's a very big part of the population.
Yeah, it's even more than Aboriginal in Taiwan. Yeah, because I think the job migrant workers do is something Taiwanese don't want to do. Like, their job is to take care of elder who are sick or disabled, or they work in the factory, or they be a fisherman, spend a lot of time on the fishing boat. So that's what Taiwanese don't want to do, but they come here and they support this important works for us.
Right.
Yeah. So I think Taiwanese have to appreciate them.
And so let's get into your services right now, because you do provide a number of specific services for these migrants. I think the three main things that you guys have going for them are, first of all, some educational services, and we can talk about that in a second. But it's not just directed necessarily at the migrants. You also have services that are kind of directed at helping Taiwanese people get to know these newcomers to Taiwan. So you have what you call your Migrant Life channel, which is basically giving folks in Taiwan a chance to get to know through media these migrants a little bit better. And then you also have kind of get-togethers on Sundays where migrants can meet in person Taiwanese people and just have a little bit of more, cultural sharing, get to know each other kind of stuff. Let's start with the educational services, though. What kind of education are you focusing on?
Okay, because we find a lot of migrant workers, they want to save some money in Taiwan, and then when they go back to their country, they want to start a small business. And why they want to start a small business? Because when they go back, it's very hard for them to find a better job there. So maybe a small business is a better option. But in fact, because they don't have business knowledge, so it's easy for them to fail. So if in Taiwan we can teach them some simple business knowledge, it's easier for them to succeed in their country. And they can have better life for their family, for their child, so they don't have to work in Taiwan again.
So it's kind of setting them up for kind of having a positive investment in their future rather than being stuck in this low-wage environment forever.
Yes.
And you also have some language resources as well, is that right?
Yeah, because there are a lot of Japan and China and Taiwan factories in Indonesia. And if they can learn Japanese or Chinese, they can find a better job when they go back to be a translator or manager.
Right. Just very relevant skills for their home countries as well. Now let's move on. Okay, so up till now we've been kind of talking about what you're trying to do to support these migrants as they're in Taiwan. But your mission is kind of a little bit even broader than that, and it's about helping Taiwanese people get to know these people as well. So that, of course, regards the other two services we were talking about, kind of the media stuff you're doing, the get-together stuff you're doing. So instead of talking about the specific services, tell us why you think that's something that's needed. What is the disconnect? What's the barrier right now between Taiwanese people and getting to know these new arrivals?
I think a lot of Taiwanese, we think migrant workers are laborers. But we think migrant workers are human beings. Mm-hmm. And every human beings has their culture and stories, words to share with others. Our mission is to make every migrant's journey worth and inspiring. So for the worth part is education. So we can teach them skills for them when they go back can have better job. And for the inspiring part is what you just said, media and the events to interact with Taiwanese people. Because when Taiwanese, they can really know migrant workers, we think it helps for Taiwanese to appreciate migrant workers again. We can make connection with each other and share culture. And a lot of Taiwanese want to broaden their international view. They want to go to America or Europe, but I think Southeast Asia is also a part of the world, right? So if so many Southeast Asian people are here, why go abroad to broaden your international view? You can just broaden here in Taiwan.
Now, I mean, I have heard a lot of, for example, Indonesian migrant workers say that a lot of times they just feel like Taiwan is not a terribly friendly environment for them. I mean, they face some negative attitudes. They face some negative stereotypes here in Taiwan. Are those attitudes that you see in Taiwan as well?
Yeah. Some of our students, they share their experience with us, and they said, like, sometimes when they want to take a bus, but they don't know which bus is the correct bus. So they use Chinese to ask Taiwanese. Yeah. But some Taiwanese just ignore them. They don't want to answer them. I just saw an article today, and it says that everyone said the most beautiful thing of Taiwan is that people here are very friendly. But when we talk about migrant workers, it seems that we are not as friendly as we...
or not as friendly as you are to other people, or?
Yeah, not as friendly as we treat another people.
So, I mean, we might as well just say it. Western expats, I mean, the attitudes towards these two different groups is very different.
Yeah.
But how do you get past that? I mean, what responsibility do we all have to change those attitudes?
Like, for example, a lot of people, they joined our events. And after that, they always tell us that it's a very impressive experience because they don't even think they have chance to talk or have lunch or play games with migrant workers. And it's a very precious time because they can really talk to each other, to really know about each other, to share their stories. And they will find out that migrant workers is actually very brave. Just like we want to work in America, just like we want to go working holiday in Australia, it's actually the same. So we can make the connection. We can empathize them. So what I want to say is that in the past, actually a lot of NGO or organization, they want to help migrant workers. But what they focus is they want to revise the law about migrant workers, or when migrant workers got abused from their employer, they try to help them. But what 140 trying to do is we want to be a storyteller. We want to use a different way to tell a story about migrants. So people have chance to know. When more people have chance to know migrant workers, more people will do something for them. That's what we believe. In the past, people don't think migrant workers worth caring about. But if now they know migrant workers are actually same with us, so they will start to care about them using their own ways.
So in some ways, it sounds like you're saying that you're focusing on the root of the problem. I mean, in a certain way, if you just focus on abuse and trying to prevent abuse and trying to focus on changing the laws, that's really just the result of these attitudes. And you're saying that it's more important to focus on the root, the attitude, and that means we need to all spend more time with each other.
Yes, exactly.
So if somebody wanted to get involved in your organization, what would they want to do? Is there a website for them to go to? Is there an event for them to attend? What should they know?
We have a website, www.one-40.org, and we also have a fan page on Facebook, so you can know migrant stories or our latest events. And we also hold Open Sunday, which is a culture sharing event for locals and migrant workers, every last Sunday of month.
So the last Sunday of every single month, and the information for that is on your website?
Yes, and our fan page. We also have fundraising event in the middle of May.
Oh.
It's our first public fundraising event. So if you have the ability or resource for us, it's very welcome to donate to our organization.
So before I let you go, let's get some specifics. We've been talking about ways for people to get involved, but let's get some specifics of what these meet and greet sort of events, what they're actually like. Tell us a little bit about that.
Because food is the very good way to know every culture. And we also have games. This month, we have a mini trip. We take Taiwanese to visit Philippine neighborhood. So we also design icebreaker game for Taiwanese. So when they meet Filipino, they can really they can ask Filipino some questions, so they can really know each other instead of just passing by.
Okay, so it's you go to this thing, you get some food, you get a free tour, and then it's almost like camp. You get to meet a whole bunch of new friends.
Yeah, so it's very fun event. So actually you can have fun there and also make friends with migrant workers.
Yeah.
So every time when we post our events on our fan page, it takes us only about 2 hours to fill it up.
So I guess one thing that maybe the most important thing that you're discovering is there really is a desire for people to meet new friends of all different kinds.
Yeah.
All right. So that is a couple of ways to get involved. We're passing around the hat to all of our listeners, hoping that folks out there can contribute just a little bit. Once again, the way to find out more is to go to one-40.org. That's their website where you can find all the information for how to get involved. We have been speaking today to the co-founder of the 140 Foundation, Sophia Wu. Sophia, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
And just to clarify, that is the word one and the word 40, so one-forty.org is what you're going to want to be looking for there. That'll get you right to their website. This was another podcast edition of Taiwan Talk. Taiwan Talk is, of course, ICRT's weekly interview segment, bringing you conversations from and about Taiwan. You can find dozens and dozens and dozens more of these interviews online at the ICRT website, on iTunes, and we're posting these to the ICRT blog. So just look for the Taiwan Talk podcast stream. You can find all that good stuff. Please do leave a comment while you're there, either on iTunes or the blog. Helps us out a lot. That was it for the show today. Thank you for listening. For Taiwan Talk and ICRT, I'm Keith Menconi. See you next time.